Last month, Detroit native Aaron Robertson received the news that he'd been selected for a Rhodes Scholarship. Robertson is currently a senior at Princeton University, and the prestigious honor will allow him to attend the University of Oxford in England for graduate study. I'm pleased to welcome Aaron Robertson to American Black Journal. Thanks for being here.
Of course.
And absolutely, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate
That is such a big deal. I don't know, I didn't go look, but I'm not sure how many other Rhodes Scholars we've had from the city of Detroit.
Yeah.
So you are definitely in rare company.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what it means to be a Rhodes Scholar. How did you become a Rhodes Scholar?
Yeah, so the process was in the making for a long time, honestly. Yeah. The interviews happened last month, actually, and so I will be studying modern languages at Oxford. More specifically, I will be looking at contemporary Afro-Italian literature.
Oh, wow.
And so this was kind of just a great opportunity to focus on a field of study that doesn't get that much attention.
Yeah, contemporary Afro-Italian literature.
Yeah, right.
Give me an example.
Right. So much of my work right now, anyways, focuses on one author named Igiaba Shego.
Okay.
She was born and raised in Rome, but her roots are Somali, and so her work concentrates mostly on migration experiences from North Africa to Italy, and it also examines Italy's colonial past within North Africa.
Sure.
And so I think it's important now, especially in a time when the migration crisis is still so exacerbated, and in fact, this year alone, Italy received 171,000 migrants.
Yeah.
And so
some of them in these very rickety dinghies, essentially, that push off from North Africa, looking for their way across the Mediterranean. I mean, this is a very dangerous activity that's going on over there.
Yeah, exactly. And as migrants move into the country, you kind of see these political parties more on the far right that are really resisting this movement. And so there's one called the Northern League, which is this populist movement. And so my work is really kind of interrogating Italian nationalism, looking at themes of cosmopolitanism in general, which I think has relevance for American audiences as well.
Yeah. Is this also what you've been studying at Princeton?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yes. So my major is Italian, and I minor in African American studies.
Okay.
And what's interesting is speaking to people who ask, how do these two topics go together? And it's not obvious, really. And so my work is about kind of making these links more clear. It's about giving artists and writers who traditionally have not been represented a platform.
A voice.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I know your name from Detroit, and I think maybe some of the viewers would know your name from Detroit from the things that you've written for the Metro Times.
Yes.
To talk about your sense of Detroit, where we are right now, what's going on.
Yeah. So my work last summer at the Metro Times was really kind of looking at these radical black artists in the city who are doing some great work. And so my major piece was on a cultural aesthetic and movement called Afrofuturism. And so I was speaking with musicians, painters, sculptors who were kind of looking at the neighborhood as the basic unit of change in Detroit. And so I think it's important to zoom in locally, to always keep that in mind, because when we talk about creating some kind of coherent national identity, we've got to realize that starts locally.
It starts at the neighborhood level.
Exactly.
Even when we talk about the city, we often sort of overlook the individual sort of neighborhoods and the role that they play in those dynamics. We talk about the city as one, or with the certain parts, right? Downtown and Midtown
yeah.
get more attention than what's going on in the neighborhoods.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you go off to England
Yes.
next year. How long will the study take
Right.
place?
So the program is 2 years. It starts next October. So in the meantime, I will be looking for a job over the summer, like hopefully
Right? Go back and write for the Metro Times,
yeah,
right?
something that involves journalism or working at an arts nonprofit. So we'll see.
Yeah, and will you plan to return to Detroit after,
Right.
after your study?
So so that's one thing that I have been thinking about for a long time. Actually, I am, my interests are in the publishing industry mostly, and so of course that scene is
Rough
large in
times.
New York, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. But I would love to see some kind of press here in Detroit that promoted radical literature, that promoted the voices of African diasporic authors. So basically, I'm not sure at this point.
All right,
but
whether you'll be able to do
Yeah.
that, but that's so great. It's a wonderful idea. Quickly before we run out of time, tell me a little bit about your upbringing here, growing up in the city. Where'd you go to high school?
Yeah, so I went to University Liggett School, which is in Grosse Pointe Woods.
Excellent school.
Yeah,
My daughter goes there.
Oh, great! Yeah, I had actually lived in the suburbs until my sophomore year of high school, when my mother and I moved into the city, and that's really when I started to get to know the city. That's when I fell in love with it, and so I think it's great to come from kind of the suburbs and then moving into the city.
Yeah, right.
And
That's
having
a very
this,
different
this
background.
diverse experience. Yeah.
All right. Aaron Robertson, Rhodes Scholar. Congratulations
Thank
again,
you.
and thanks for
so
being
much.
here. Absolutely. All right, that's our program for today. Thanks for watching. You can get more information about our guests at AmericanBlackJournal.org. And as always, you can connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. Have a wonderful holiday, and we'll see you next time.